Hello, and welcome to Catholicism in the Car. My name is Parker Zerbal. I want to continue our conversation about an argument against contraception from a natural point of view. So an argument against contraception from a natural point of view. It should go without saying that an anti-contraceptive view is de facto the natural view. In the sense that contraception does not happen naturally. It is, by definition, a man-made, unnatural, not naturally occurring means for limiting or preventing the contraception of a new human life within the sexual act. So I think, first of all, it should be acknowledged by all parties that contraception is unnatural, strictly speaking. It is unnatural. Now, does this therefore mean that everything unnatural, am I saying that everything that is unnatural is morally wrong or morally faulty in some way? And no, that is not what I'm saying. There is a nuanced view here that still allows for the claim and bolsters, I think, the claim that contraception is morally wrong, but does not therefore indicate that all unnatural things are morally wrong. This does not mean that, let's say, for instance, the invention of the plow is wrong, or that literally anything made by man that is not naturally occurring is wrong. That would be a very untenable view, because clearly no one in human history has ever taken that view. The thing that distinguishes humans from animals, one of the things, is that they're able to make things. Even certain animals can make things. So in a certain sense, you could probably say that it is natural for humans to make things. Insofar as it is natural, say, on the same level for apes to use sticks or rocks as tools. But apes cannot, make twine or something like that to bind the rock to the stick to make some sort of a hammer or axe. They are not able to sharpen minerals in order to make knives and other sharp objects for tools and for the sake of defense, all these different things. So that is not what we're arguing here. What I would argue is that human sexuality, particularly, must only be used in natural means, or by natural means, okay? The procreative powers within the human person should only be utilized within natural means. So that means, therefore, condoms, birth control, diaphragms, onanism, which is the sin of Odin, the son of Judah. In the Old Testament, in Genesis, God killed him because he spilled his sperm, he spilled his seed during the sexual act, He deliberately spilled his sperm on the ground, and therefore God killed him. Some people recently have tried to make this out to be a scriptural passage against masturbation. Now, sure, in a certain sense that it could be taken that way, maybe, but that's clearly not the emphasis of the text. That's clearly not what's going on here. Onan is not masturbating. He is contracepting. It is the exact same thing physically is happening there. Is happening as what would happen when one uses a condom. And, later on, in the procreative process, it's even similar, obviously, for what happens in birth control, because it prevents contraception of the sperm and the egg meeting and creating new human life. Okay, so now this brings up a good point. I'm going to play devil's advocate here. The sin of Onan, spilling the seed on the ground, is not anything man-made. So that does... I may have to rethink this principle here about natural, because there's nothing technically unnatural, you could say, first off, in what Onan is doing, except for the fact that he is not using the natural processes which man has been given for the purpose which they have been given. So here I think would be the bigger principle, the larger principle, not just the fact that we should use man's nature naturally. Okay? But what does that mean? It means that man needs to use the faculties of his nature, whether of soul or body, for their created ends. For their created ends. Okay, so this means man's intellect. He is not supposed to use his intellect for things that it was not created to do. So, and that would include anything outside of natural law. Okay, that would include anything outside of natural law, and outside of natural morality, therefore. Okay, so man's nature, man should use the faculties of his nature. Man should use the faculties of his nature for their created ends. And doing otherwise is to frustrate reality. From a theistic standpoint, this would be to frustrate God's creation. Okay? When man does not use his nature to the ends for which it was created, it's like God giving you a hammer and you using it to, I don't know, till soil or something, to till your garden. You use a hammer to till your garden. Now, I mean, it could do it. You could use the other end of the hammer and it would make the furrows and things like that. But it wouldn't do it very effectively, and also, that is not the fulfillment of the end of a hammer's nature. Okay, a hammer is for hammering things and for pulling nails out of wood or other materials. Okay, in like manner, man's sexual faculties, the sexual aspect of his nature, is oriented towards two things. First is the union of man and wife. Okay, the union of man and wife, the loving union of man and wife. Secondly, it is towards procreation. Now, if either of these things are frustrated in some way, so if man uses his sexual faculties for procreation, but they are outside of loving union with his spouse, that is either adultery or marital rape, depending on the circumstances. If man uses let's say, his procreative faculties for in a sexual act with someone who he's not married with, but yet causes procreation to occur, that is fornication, but also the bastardization of a child. I'm using that word in the technical term, not in the vulgar term. Okay, it is the bastardization of a child. That does not mean that the child is somehow bad in any way, in any possible way. The child is made good, although the means through which he was created was unideal or even, morally wrong, of course. Speaking of children, there's my wife and child. I'm going to stop this podcast.